Was not all of it. It wasn't all of it. I don't like that smile on your face.
Nothing.
You know something I don't. I don't like that. So before we get into the factors, it's important that I say something about what Glock submitted. We all know that SIG submitted, or what SIG submitted because they won, right? But Glock actually submitted 2 guns for testing.
Didn't they submit the 17M?
Okay, so it's actually called the 19 MHS was the actual designation.
And it has some ghetto-ass sheet metal safety, doesn't it?
Ooh, we're going to get into that, and that's so sweet. Good call. It was basically a 19X with a safety. That's exactly what it was. But did you know?
Was that safety a military requirement?
Yes, it was. Oh, yeah, so we'll get into that, too. Did you know that Glock also submitted a second gun that you can't buy? It's called a G23 MHS. It's in 40 cal. And to my knowledge, there's no G23X. There is no configuration like that you can go out and buy. You could convert maybe, but I don't think you can go out and buy that. But who would want a 40 cal version of the 19X?
Well, I remember, what was it? Before this, wait, in this timeline, well, who was I watching?
The timeline. Are we talking about like the whole conspiracy
No,
Berenstein Bears
no.
timeline? Like what?
No, like
what are we?
the whole like modern combat handgun, whatever the procurement program's called.
MHS.
They had another one trying to find if anything new had came out, where thumb safeties were mandatory, and someone asked Glock if they were going to put thumb safeties on it, and they said, "No, we're just going to convince them that they're not needed."
Okay, all right. So I want to talk. I will give you some foreshadowing because that's important. I did a ton of research, federal documents, military documents. None of it was redacted information except for the part around Glock's safety. And I have the quote here.
Whoa.
It's the most mysterious thing I've ever read. But yeah. So anyways, this didn't make a lot of sense to me as both guns were the exact same size. So Glock's guns were identical footprints, exact same size, not a compact, not a full size, nothing. They were just different calibers. I believe this was because Glock was trying to show that their design was modular. So here's where I have an issue with this. What is modular? Do you consider the ability to change the calibers modular? Like a G19 is modular because it can be changed to 40 cal. And two, before we get into this, has Glock ever advertised that or even recommended that you do that? Does Glock offer caliber conversion kits?
I have a converted Glock 35 converted to 9mm.
I have a 23 converted to 9mm.
And tell you what.
But are these all like aftermarket parts?
They're all, well, no. It's like certain cars, you know, like if you have a 97 to 2000, say F-150, you can swap parts between those years and models, and they pretty much work.
Yeah.
Glocks are the same way.
Okay.
But
like
they don't manufacturing wise, they don't recommend it. Like the manufacturer doesn't
I don't
specifically
think they
give guidance
do,
to do so.
But
I mean, like a Ford would not tell you can't put a salvage head on your engine. But if you call Glock and say, should I convert my Glock 19 to 40 cal? They'd say, no, buy a 23.
Yes.
What do you consider modular? I want your definition of modularity. Is it to change the grip, change the trigger, change the barrel? What's modular?
How many, like, you want to do as many changes as you can on the gun. So if it's just one change, it's not that much.
That's what I say.
So you're trying to find something that you can adapt, bring so much in to adapt
of course,
so fast.
my question is,
Nailed it.
how modular do you want? It's a fucking handgun.
Well, according to the military the requirements, they wanted you to be able to change things like trigger position, stuff like that. So I would consider Glock's handguns not modular.
So in my mind, you're going to have two types of people in the military. You're going to have someone that runs the gun as issued in box. Then you're going to have the complete other side of the coin that does everything they can to the max to have a pretty much race gun.
Yeah.
And as far as in between, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, like you can see that in police departments.
Yes.
You run into police officers who are gun guys or gun women, and they're at the range, they're shooting, and they're like, "Hey, like this is my standard issue, but I have all these upgrades in it."
Yeah.
And then you run into the cop who's like, "This
Who's
is my
running the stainless.
This is my 38 special from
Well, no.
1960, and I haven't even
you'll have the
unloaded
guy-
the chamber."
This is my Ruger Glock 17. Yeah.
No, you have the guy who's still running the third gen 5900 series from Smith. That's hammer fired. They're tanks of handguns.
I know you like those things. I
have one. They're tanks.
Yeah.
But
Anyways.
it's come so far.
But the bad thing about that is the more modular you make it, the more
Opportunity to fuck it up is.
exactly.
And it's
Absolutely.
like, do you want like the average I don't want to like speak bad on the military, but like, do you want the average grunt to be able to fuck around with their like trigger pull distance?
Nope.
And like, so for me, from military, and I didn't serve, I don't have any connection to the military, but to me, it makes the most sense that any service person without specialized training, special ops and everything, since they get their own choice of weapon cache anyway, anybody in the military picks up a Glock or a P320, it is identical. You could pick it up in the Pentagon. You could pick it up overseas. You could pick it up at any base from any armorer, and it will handle and feel and be the exact same across the board.
Well,
but how do you like? And then it comes into how do you make that serviceable to every single person in the military?
Well, I mean,
Consistency
for a while,
is simplicity, but
well, I mean, for a while, I carried a Glock 34 with an RMR and a TLR1 on everyday carry.
Why
and
the
then,
hell would you do that?
And all of a sudden, it's like, shit, I got to worry about battery life on the RMR. I got to worry about battery life on the TLR1.
How about the fact that you're carrying a slabber of a freaking handgun around every day?
6 foot 270. I can hide a fucking MP5. Okay. Actually, I know a guy that's probably Owen's size or slightly smaller.
Yeah.
He carried a Glock 17L with 2-inch comp on the end.
Hey, I'm just happy to see you.
Whatever.
Appendix carry.
Happy to see you.
Now, my question is, during this class, I never saw him sit once, and I was dying to watch him try to sit.
God, okay, I guess not being able to see your dick when you look straight down has its advantages in some cases.
What do you mean?
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
Hey, I'm saying I suck it in. I got full viz. Okay.
All right. Hey, man, I've heard something about every 10 pounds is an inch or whatever. So
complete lie. Complete lie. Okay. I lost.
When I suck.
At one point in my life, I lost 70 pounds. Did I have? Did it add 7 inches? No, it did not. Okay.
Okay. All right. I gotta stop you guys at the dick comments, just for the fucking listeners. All right. Anyways, I do not consider the Glock handgun to be modular, and I think Glock was trying to pass something off that the community spent time. Glock's community of owners spent time developing. I think they were like, "Oh crap, we know this can happen. Now we need to lean on it for this modularity type sell to the military."
So what do you mean the community was developing this?
I mean,
they
like,
just like crowdsource this?
No. The Glock owners were like, "Hey, the Glock 23 extractor fits in the Glock 19 frame."
Right, like Lone Wolf does
okay,
conversion kits.
okay,
Glock
okay.
doesn't do conversion kits, but SIG does conversion kits for their 320s, right?
I
so
see what you're
it's
saying.
not something Glock supported, but when they needed to, they leaned on it. And I think that's
But
bullcrap.
still, how many
Okay.
people in a combat fighting source, a pistol should not be your main weapon?
It's
Zero.
to fight your way back to your main weapon.
gun, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how many people are like, "Oh, I need 40 cal for this mission. 9 mil won't."
If you need 40, if you think you need 40 cal for anything,
operator, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Probably.
valid point, Mike. But typically it's like I should carry another mag of 5.56 so I don't have to go to my 40 cal.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you guys want to know the factors? Now that we know what Glock submitted. Hey, if you liked what you just saw, we do have full episodes on our YouTube channel that you can watch. We also have an email address that you can contact us at. It's rifledmedia@gmail.com. Send us an email. We would love to hear from you. Give us some feedback. Maybe leave us an idea for a topic you'd like us to cover. Also, if it's a really cool piece of information or just a really funny email, I will happily read it here on one of our episodes. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we cannot wait to have you here next time.